I've been at Pantheon for a decade now. Before that, I was in the agency world, and the phrase living style guide was coming into fashion 2012, 2013, 2014. And I started to get skeptical of it because I saw in at least some of the projects I was either working on or observing from the side, I could see these style guides are not staying alive. They are zombie style guides. The situation was, you mentioned earlier responsive design. That was a huge shift in how websites had to be designed. To call a design done and be credible, you had to think through like, how is it going to squish? And before that, like, you could credibly say, I've designed a website, and what you meant was like, I made the Photoshop or InDesign comps, and like that's a picture of what the website is going to look like. Now, with release of the iPhone, the iPad, like, you need to at least show how it squishes. You may not need to dictate every detail, but you got to show how it squishes. So, okay, people start figuring out the CSS and the markup outside of Drupal or WordPress or whatever the final website might be. They're calling it a living style guide. But at least in my experience, many of the early projects that tried that had a zombie state where like, okay, the CSS and the HTML was figured out somewhere else. There's low friction. But then at some point, it all got copy pasted over to Drupal or WordPress or whatever, and that became where the real thing was, and there was no ongoing connection. So I think much of what you're going to show us is like, how does the ongoing connection live? how does the digital blood flow between these systems to keep it alive?